Hi guys, so this is what you'll need to make a mini wall hanging. Ta-da! Okay, so I guess let's get to it. So I'm going to move these aside for now, and we'll start off with a lark's head knot onto the driftwood, knotting the rope onto the driftwood. So we're going to do 3 pieces of white. So what I've done here is I've just folded the rope in half, and I'm using this end to loop around the stick and under and then through. Just pull it through. Hang on guys. Okay, so that's all on there. Now, the next step is to get our shorter strands, the 40 centimeter strands, grouped into 3, like this. So we pop that over the top of the existing rope that is attached to the driftwood. We start with our first piece of rope, this one here, and we're going to do a half hitch. So you loop that over and then bring it under, and then you loop it over again on the other side. So as you can see, I started looping it over the left and now I'm looping it over the right, and you'll get a little U shape in here, or a horseshoe, that you pop your rope through and you pull it tight. So that will give you this effect. And we're going to do that with every piece of these ropes. And I'll just demonstrate it as I go, but I'll probably do a time lapse to speed things up a bit. So over and through. Now you get your little U shape or horseshoe and you put it through there. So I'm going to continue doing this the whole way. So there we go, we're at the end of the row. We've got our pattern start with the mustard bit in the middle. So what I'm going to do is keep on repeating what I did in that first row, but I'm going to leave out the end ropes so that it tapers in. Okay, now we're at the centre part, the mustard detail. We're also going to leave one of them out. Okay, so see here how it's tapering in. Let's move on to the next row, leaving these two aside. Actually, rather than using that one again, you'll still get the same effect. I'm going to use this end bit of mustard that's been sitting out since up here, just because it's quite long and the ones that I've been repeatedly using are getting shorter. So just to keep the length a bit even. I don't know if that makes sense. Apologies if it doesn't. One more to go. So yeah, what I was saying before about the mustard, these bits here I've left out from the second row. So rather than keeping on using the same ones over and over again, which are getting shorter and shorter, as you can see here, just to try and even it out, I'm using the longer ones. And you can't notice up here, it doesn't make a difference in your pattern at the front. Your back will look, you'll see it. See here, I used that at the top one, but I haven't used it until that third one again, or fourth one. And I'll probably do the same with these two because they're a bit longer than the others. Hope that makes sense. Alright, so there we go. And if you find that your fringing on one side is longer than the other side, You can always just give it a tug to make it longer on one side. It is quite difficult once it's all knotted up, but you can do it. It's doable. So yeah, so that's the most time-consuming part of the hanging is done. Now, what I did with the last one, with the loose ends, is I tie them together at the back, just to keep them out of the way. Just a standard overhand knot, double knot. That's one. So now what we're going to do is the barrel knot to just hold all this together. I'm going to use this piece of polished cotton. It's quite fine. So when you're doing a barrel knot, you always do it, well, if you want the knot to be at the back, then you flip it over and work from the back of your piece. So I've just got here all the bits of rope bunched up, the bits that I've just tied up here as well. Keep them all together and out of the way. So a barrel knot is an upside down horseshoe, as you can see here, or loop. You hold that together like that, and then you wrap. You wrap upwards towards your loop. So I'm going to do 1, 2, I normally do 3, but I might do a couple more just to make it look a bit thicker. So 5, I'm going to do 5. So once you've done your wraps, you get your end of the string and you put it through the loop. Okay, and now the other end of the string is down here. You need to hold on to that. Basically, pull both ends about the same tightness, and that will tighten up, and that's your barrel knot. So that's how it looks on the front. Nice and neat, everything's together. And then we just trim these end bits off. You don't really need them. Oh, there we go. One of the kids is crying now. Usually is Remy. I see here, see these guys on this right side, that's heaps longer than the left side. So that's where you can pull it through. There you go. There's a demo for you. It gets a bit more even. Now, we're going to make the pom-pom. Okay, my peeps. I just had a little break because I had a child calling me. A crying child. So, yes, he's all right now. And we're going to do the pom-pom now. So, I've got my pom-pom maker here. Yep, it comes in 2 pieces. So what you do is you make sure the white bits are on the outside, flip it open, and you wrap the yarn around and around and around. And basically the more yarn you wrap around, the thicker and fluffier your pom-pom's going to be. So just find the end of this. Here it is. And we hold them together and wrap. I'm going to hold that in place with my thumb. It's a little bit fiddly at first, but once you get going, you can just wrap it around itself and it will hold it in place. So that's one side of the pom-pom done. Now let's do the other side. And you close it up. I'm still holding my strand of, I'm pretty sure this one's acrylic, this yarn. Then you open up the other side and basically just keep wrapping. And once that's done, you close it up, cut off the excess. And then we find a little gap in between the two halves of the pom-pom maker and we cut. The other side, just make sure you're holding these bits closed so that your little bits of yarn don't end up flying everywhere, because then you'll have to start again. And there's a little bit here that I need to snip. And then once we've cut down the centre bit, that's when we get another skinny piece of polished cotton. This is nice, thin but sturdy stuff to use for pom-poms. And I like tying the knot right in the middle. So at one of the sides. A lot of people like to do a double on the way around, just for a bit of extra security, to keep all your little bits of yarn together. Rach from the craft parlour actually taught me that. Okay. So that's just a standard overhand double knot to hold it all into place, nice and tight as you can, without breaking your polished cotton. And then we can undo this baby, one side, other side, and then it just comes off, pulls apart like that. And there's your pom-pom. Give it a little shake. Shake it out, baby. And there you go, you'll see it. It's got a few little flyaways, so then you just give it a little haircut. Now we're going to attach our pom-pom to our wall hanging. Here's our little fluffy guy, and we just place it above the barrel knot, in that space that you've got above the barrel knot. Just tie it around so it's in the middle, hold it in place, and then flip your hanging over and just do a standard, nice, tight, secure overhand double knot. Voila. Let me chop off the ends that we don't need. Bob's your uncle. Now, if you want to give your hanging a bit more body, which I do a lot of the time, I haven't done it on the demo piece though, the green one that I originally showed you guys. I haven't brushed that out yet, but all you need to do is get a comb or a brush, basically brush these bits out. I'll demonstrate. So here we've got my trusty old comb, and you can also brush this bit out if you want to. I'm going to leave it for now though. Guys, just got one more step to show you, and that is how to pop your bit of cotton to hang your wall hanging on the wall. So I'm going to split these two apart in the middle because that's where we'll be hanging it from. I've got a bit of cotton that's about 40 centimeters long, maybe a little bit more, and I've folded that in half, and I will pop it through from the back to the front. Hopefully I can get it to go through okay. Tweezers come in really handy with things like this. It is quite fiddly. There it is, peeking through. Doesn't help having long nails. I really should cut them, but I like having long nails. And then another lark's head knot. And then double knot to hold it in place. 1, 2, and then one of these knots, and this will be the bit that hangs on the wall on a little hook or a nail or whatever you've got to hang it on. There you go. Done skis. Now we just trim that off, pair of sharp scissors, and we're done. Okay, just to make it nice and neat, after I've combed it, I'm just trimming these edges so they're a bit more even, and you'll be surprised with how effective it makes it when you neaten these ends up a bit. So I'm just cutting a couple of centimeters off each end. Okay, I think she's done skis. Okay guys,